Well, hello, illustration class, or maybe it's a different class that's going to be watching this. I am introducing the main project that's going to take you most of the trimester, even though it's going to be multiple pieces of art. Illustration is going to I'm going to be teaching you the profession. And we're going to do it not through comic book, even though what I have here is like a comic book manga. It's also talking about storyboards. Storyboards, we know, are used in cartoons, all different kinds of animations, but they're also done in live action, whether it's movies, commercials. Things are storyboard art, and even in books, sometimes even a small section of an illustrated book is storyboarded out. And that's where we're going to focus on and teach. And within those storyboarding, I'm going to teach you the different careers. First is the storyboard artist, of course, but let me explain what I'm going to do. Number one, I'm going to have to pause my video like every 5 minutes. So if you see a jump, I apologize for that. Due to the high quality of my new cell phone, it takes forever to download and upload. So I'm going to break it down so it's a little easier on me and faster. But if you hear my volume change, it's because I'm getting too close to the microphone and stuff like that. So the first part of the project is you're going to do a splash page and a panel page. And the panel page is more that storyboarding. It needs to have 3 or 4 panels. And you will hear me tell you, do not shade in with a pencil. And I still will say that to you, unless you will find that you can, with the gleam, you might not see that. This is a 4H pencil. Pencil doesn't get along with anything unless you use the right kind of pencil. So I use a 4H, and I can ink right on top of this and it's not going to do any damage. I don't press on anything, and this is a splash page. These first 2 examples, I was just making examples, but I am going to actually incorporate them into my book. And I'm going to share with you my book, or at least parts of it, and then I'm going to let students who want to go work, and then I'll continue the video for those who are actually interested in just seeing the rest of the pages. So as for our splash page, I want to draw action. And as you can see, I sketched everything out, and so I actually told a story, and the next, one of the other grades is going to be inking. Inking is a job within the profession, and all they do is ink. They don't draw. They might fix some stuff that the artists didn't realize, extra fingers, stuff like that. And so I start this panel where this character, she jumps onto the roof. He becomes aware of it, and he tries to get away from her. She has the ability, with the back end of her spear, to shoot energy balls out of. And so we go from here to here to here. So this is 4 panels. And nothing is like, I have my gutter, and I'll talk about gutters and stuff like that. There's probably another video that I have that teaches this, and it'll explain how the pages work. Because you can see I went over the blue dash. What I don't do is go past the solid blue line, but I do, just like this. I don't like to keep things within the box, as you can see. And if you look over here, I did draw past the blue line. Doesn't mean when I do my digital piece, which is going to be, and the only other thing I didn't do is have colored with the markers when I decided to use this page. And I'll talk about coloring with the markers, because that's something different. Since last year was the first year I taught this, I decided, I went a little slow, but I think we're going to be able to move a little faster because as more people have classes with me, the background's going to be deeper. So there's going to be a third page involved. So these were the first 2 pages. So I have my pencil drawing, I have my inking, and then we have what I did on the computer, which was I scanned this page, and I'm going to just go back to here. I scanned this page into my machine, and then I worked on my digital file. This was a combination of Curta, and I did one effect I was experimenting with. Wasn't the greatest, but it got that glow effect with Apple's version, Procreate. Sorry guys, sometimes early in the morning I kind of forget. So we're gonna learn to draw. You're going to do a panel page and a splash page. A splash page, I should explain, is usually, it could be at the very first page of the book, it could be in the middle of the book, it could be the middle of an action scene to bring drama into it, and it could be a way to end a book or story or storyboard. And panels can go any different directions. You do not have to do everything. It could have been angled. It could be more than 4. I just drew a page professionally, and technically there was 9 panels on the one page because I was doing little boxes with faces. So there's different ways of handling that. And like even with digital, learning to do the different things, keeping things a little simple and doing stuff like that. So I'm just going to introduce the beginning of my book just to kind of show you how I am doing stuff. This is actual pages from my book. Just understand it's work in progress. These are not finished pieces. They're just penciled out on the comic book page because that's Bristol board and it lends itself to everything. So basically, I'm introducing a dryad. She is going to be the narrator of my story. A dryad is a plant spirit, and this plant spirit who can turn into trees. Maybe it's more of a tree spirit, I should say. We get the name dryad from Greek mythology, but she's going to be one from Africa, and I'm kind of just laying things out like the intro, and these first couple pages is going to give the history of the current state of this world. And so they're going to look more like splash pages all the way through, where we're talking about the Second Civil War and we're seeing the 2 sides, and I was kind of laying things out. And some of you are familiar, you might have seen some of these pages in the past, and I'm redoing them. Talking about like how the moon cracked and tsunamis. So is the moon going to be this close to the earth? No, but it's for drama's sake, and so that's what I'm doing there. And sometimes it's almost redrawing everything exactly, making like this page didn't have a lot of changes. It's just so I could have this page in a physical form, because the last time I did it, it was just drawn. And then like even changing some angles. As somebody pointed out, maybe I don't want to show all the characters right away, leave some things for surprises. So even I am going through review. Like the original version of this page was heavily kind of criticized, like critiqued, and I was given a lot of negative about it. And basically they liked the original, they just thought the original was too raw. And then when I did this version, that was more acceptable, because and I wish I should have pulled over the other version that I had, and they just loved this so much more. And the same thing with this. This was the same thing. You will see what I was going to replace it with, but again, hiding what the character is going to look like so that's not exposed too early. You see the costume shredded here, but you don't really see him very much. And then I get into my panels, start telling a story. Nothing to do directly with my character just yet, but I'm building up my first story arc. And now I'm going to stop right here. And for those of you who are not interested, I don't want to, I'm excited about my story. You may not be. And, or you might be so excited you want to get going on what this project's going to be all about. And so I'm going to just pause for a minute. And this will allow people to go work quietly, and maybe I just continue the video, or they just start listening to it themselves. Maybe I'll even separate this half of the video. So basically, I needed to start with a very dark chapter, and when we talk about darkness just within society, this is going to be a drug-related story telling about losing hope. This is going to be telling a story where everything is going well in the world, kind of, and people are manipulating things and bring darkness back, and drugs are now hitting the streets again, and this is a future that is recovering from a second civil war that ended through natural catastrophes and stuff like that, and somebody wants to bring the destruction back around. So we meet a young lady, and we can see that she's going through a lot, grabbing a baby. Some people really thought I did a great job on that hand. I don't know why. And then talking about the monorail system. And I'm going to talk about the monorail system in another video. And then even I make mistakes, so make sure you keep your paper the correct way. Because I turned mine upside down, it was after. And you can see that I'm repeating my image, but I'm changing it. And this was a Lightbox thing where I kind of took a copy of that, put it under this, and that's why it looks so identical in drawing. I saved myself time. I need to draw maybe more trash bags, and I'm kind of giving it that Victorian future. And then the other thing is I'm taking advantage of not always drawing every little bit of background, and you can see just coming up on the character, grabbing her and letting her shoe be, the action, and then just first introducing my character and then launching. And then we get into the action scene. I didn't really say that. I don't know if you see in the shadows here that people are following her, and because I told you this is going to be drug related. So he's fighting our main character, and this is where the pages are very unfinished. I got to draw the characters he's hitting and stuff like that, and then he gets hit dramatically in the face. And in the action scenes, I'm trying to be a little more raw with it, just so it's faster to draw. And then we get the first, as we get the first look at my character, the vigilante known as the Gray, whose real name is Sebastian. And then we get into an action scene here, and they're fighting. And then when he tries to help her, she's freaking out, and the cops arrive. And like I said, this is where things are not finished. You can see this is where I stopped drawing. I was doing this in August, and I haven't gotten back to it. But I did know that at the very end, I know how I want this chapter, because when he gets broken down and then he builds himself back up, I did kind of already draw the last page per se. As you can see, I went with a dramatic perspective, and then you can see the cracked, jagged edges. They'll be more defined and then you'll see all these different characters, just shadows of different characters that he's going to be dealing with. And then this was at page 5 originally, or page 4 originally, and people like just him keeping, and this is a page that I think I liked very well, and I will put into the book somewhere. I'll find a reason to put this one in. I thought it came out super well. So just because you do something really well doesn't mean it will be useful. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you like where I'm going with my books, and maybe one day it will be published and you can buy it and purchase it for yourself. Mr. O and his merchandising, right? All right, guys, have a great day, and remember, you're wonderful, and thank you for your time.